here in the mountains filming, and I'm getting set up to do my process. And I thought this would be a really cool time to share my process of how I, try to get organized for content creation, jobs, whatever it is, when I have really bad ADHD. So I'm going to share 3 tips that I have when it comes to this type of stuff. All right, guys, a quick disclaimer. I'm talking about mental health, ADHD type stuff in this. I know a lot of people think it's cute to say, oh, I have ADHD. The reality is, if it's not debilitating, if it's not like your life's going awry and you're like, what the hell's happening? You probably don't have it. It's not cute to have it. Trust me, it is. It's horrible. I don't wish this on anybody. It really is a nightmare to have it. And so, yeah, I just want to put that disclaimer out there. I'll talk more about it at the end, and maybe it will help some of you guys, maybe not. I don't know. This isn't medical advice, any mental health advice. This is none of that. I don't want to get sued talking about this. I'm just trying to be transparent about my own struggles with ADHD and things that have helped me navigate all of this. Anyways, into the video. Kind of annoying because when we come to the snow, Sedona likes to eat the snow and then start doing this and not stop. Last time we were up here, she almost caught hypothermia, I'm pretty sure. So she was doing it again. She just starts scarfing snow down. But anyway, so ADHD, when it comes to, content creation, it is a huge struggle, but it's also a superpower. There's a bunch of us. I feel like a lot of people who get into the online world, one, just to create and to, create a source of income. I feel like a lot of us do that because we don't work well in traditional 9-to-5 job scenarios. Majority of my adult life, I've kind of envied my friends who can work normal jobs and be content with it. And I always found it bizarre. And then, just a couple of years ago, I got diagnosed with ADHD, and my whole life started to make sense. Even when I was a kid and the teacher would call on me, and I would just remember every time they would call on me, it's like the lights got turned on. It's like my head was in the desk. It wasn't though. I just wasn't there because I wasn't paying attention. Content creation, we have no boss. And it makes it really difficult. When I'm doing commercial jobs and stuff, I have deadlines. And a lot of the times I've been doing this, since my whole career, I wait till the deadline's almost up, literally the night before, and then I'll smash it out and I'll do some of my best work ever. But that is beyond stressful because in the meantime of me stressing through all of that, I am just debilitated with stress and anxiety and getting nothing done and feeling like a failure. And then once it's done, it's not like a reward system. It's more of like a relief. It's like, oh, that's done. But then there's also a million other things. Imagine when it comes to content creation, everything's on my own shoulders. So it's very stressful. So there's a few things that I do that I want to share with you guys. And then we'll also go over to the superpowers. So guys, the first thing that I do, the iPhone Notes app is beautiful because I can make notes on my phone. I can speak audio into it. Siri is kind of dog shit when it comes to picking up specific words. But for the Notes app in the iPhone, I can write my notes there. I can speak voice to text into there. And the beautiful thing is I can pick it right back up on my MacBook. Now, the downside to that is it's, that's our computer and our phone. So when you have ADHD, you can pick up your phone to get a job done. And then 3 hours later, you realize you've been doom scrolling and you're doing a million other different things. That's the reason I picked up this next thing. Peter McKinnon actually recommended this to me like a while back. And I'll put his link in the description on his whole journaling and note adventure and how much it's helped him. A little fill note, notepad book thing, and then a little pen. Again, I'll put links to everything on here. And there's 2 beautiful things about this. One, physically writing it. If you're someone that loves, film cameras or retro digital cameras, there's a romanticism behind using a camera like that. I get a similar feeling when I'm actually handwriting things, but also there are studies out there that show handwriting it helps the brain connect and digest it a little bit better. The other upside is a lot of the times when I am filming, I have notes all over my notepad in my iPhone, but I'll go and pick it up and I always have a million texts and phone calls I'm missing and emails. Again, I get distracted while I'm trying to film. So when I'm just using this guy, there's no distractions. It's just my notes. There's nothing else there. So obviously the downsides to this, I've already lost this a couple times and then refound it. Or sometimes I forget it when I'm on trips or if I'm going to the cafe. So, a part of ADHD is where we get forgetful. There's been times where I couldn't find my car keys and they're in the freaking refrigerator. I don't know why. Or times where I can't find my freaking sunglasses and I have a trip and I'm running late and I look for 2 hours for them. They're on my freaking face. That's happened multiple times to me. So the notepad. Again, taking notes. That's the tip number one, taking notes. Whether it's digital notes that can cause distractions, but it's really beautiful having that ecosystem, or if it's a physical notepad. I use both heavily. Kind of what I do is I'll do my rough notes on here. And then when I'm ready to refine it and really write even more in depth, that's when I'll switch to my notes. And sometimes I'll go back and forth. So it's a little bit of a dance. Let's get into the second thing. It's kind of a different form of the note taking, but it's leaving notes around the house. I just got a new glass black whiteboard type thing where you could take those markers to it and erase it. Having that, and I put it right next to my desk. So anytime I walk through that main office and I'm passing my computer, I'm going to it, I see it. My eyes get locked onto it, and it's a slight reminder of me to mark something off or to erase something. And that's kind of a reward system for us, because again, we never truly feel rewarded. Once a task is done, we feel more relieved just because there's so much stress around it. Being able to erase it off, it's a really subtle moment of a reward, which I know is incredibly depressing, but it is what it is. I have all my deadlines coming up and all the things I need to do. And again, it's just a beautiful reminder, and it's nice and big. Where I went wrong previously is I got a little mini chalkboard like this size. My eyes wouldn't catch on to that. Jesus, bunch of snow just fell off the tree. We're maybe a quarter mile away from where that mountain lion was talking. Just to solidify what I'm just saying, if I go to the grocery store and I buy fruit and someone places that fruit in the cabinet or in the back of the fridge, I will forget that fruit exists. That fruit does not exist. Even with friendships, I don't have a friend constantly blowing up my phone or trying to stay in contact. I just, out of sight, out of mind. It's a really bad ADHD thing. It can really affect relationships and friendships and business relationships, all of it. That's something I'm constantly working on, but obviously, it's hard to work on things like that unless you have someone in your life reminding you. But yeah, going back to the fruit example, if I leave fruit out in a fruit bowl on the table or right in front of my face on the counter, I will eat it. I will remember that it's there and it won't go bad. It won't spoil because I see that it's there. So it's the same thing with tasks. ADHD is not people get really confused. They think it's a hyperactive brain and blah, 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 blah. It's more of a dopamine system. I'll use a sex example. Okay. Say someone approaches you in life and you're not attracted to them. You're not going to be able to get turned on. You're not gonna be able to do it. I mean, some guys might be able to. I'm not that type of guy. If you're not attracted to the person, whether it's mentally or physically or a combination of both, you're not gonna be able to do anything about it. That's what our ADHD is. If something doesn't excite us or trigger that dopamine dump in our brain, we're not gonna get the task done. Where if you're a regular brain human being, your body, your brains can preserve dopamine. So when it comes time to take out the trash or cut down all those Amazon boxes or eat that fruit, whatever it is, your brain can spit a little bit of dopamine into your body. And so you could do that activity. When you have ADHD, you don't have that. It's either all dopamine or no dopamine. My last and final tip here, I actually have a bonus tip after this. It's a little bit more of I don't know if I should talk about it, but I'm going to. I'm learning to take breaks. It's hard because, again, when you have ADHD, you're constantly stressed about things you need to do. So there's times in my life where I have a routine. So this is kind of a double thing here. When I have a good routine, I'm going to the gym every other day. I'm walking my dog every day. I'm I wake up, have my breakfast. I don't look at my phone. I go outside. I look into the sky. I sit down. I make my coffee, have my breakfast, and then I start looking at my phone and start seeing what I have to do for the day. When I'm living that life, I get so much stuff done. Once that routine gets flipped upside down, it takes me probably a good 2 to 6 weeks to self-regulate again and get back onto that routine. But when I am in that pocket and that routine, I feel a tiny bit less stressed. And on the weekends or, when I don't have anything to do, there's always something to do though. And again, that's my ADHD brain. I allow myself to just take a break. There's some days where, I would be like, oh, I can't lay down. I can't watch this movie in the middle of the day. I'm not allowed to do this. I don't deserve this. I didn't get enough done this week to be able to relax. I'm starting to tell myself, look, it's 1, 2 p.m. You haven't done shit. Just call it a day, just relax, just recover, try to go to the gym, maybe my dog on a run, just accept it as not maybe as a loss, but just as a relaxing day. That was a number of different things. So routines and accepting when you're just not having a good day and just accepting it when it is. Obviously, if I have a deadline, my dopamine could be like, hey, it's go time. Let's get this shit done. That's kind of the superpowers. I guess I should do a disclaimer. This is not medical advice. This is not mental health advice. I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm not giving you any advice. I'm just speaking from my own personal opinion here. My ADHD was getting so bad. And again, I wasn't really aware that I had ADHD. I was dating this one girl and she was like, dude, you have ADHD. And I was like, no, I don't. What are you talking about? And so I went and got checked. I got professional help. I went to my IHS, that's Indian Health Services. I went into there, they don't always have the greatest doctors and stuff. It's kind of, we kind of get what we get. But the psychiatric doctor guy, I don't even know what you would call him. I walked in and literally within the first 3 minutes, he was laughing at me. But he apologized. He goes, sorry, I'm not laughing at you, or I don't mean to laugh at you, but you're like textbook ADHD. You walked in, you were playing drums, you're doing all this. You probably didn't even realize it. I had no idea what he was talking about. But our whole conversation, he was like, dude, like it's you are like textbook ADHD. That has been a life-changing thing for me. He did prescribe me meds. I'm assuming you guys can know what those meds are. I don't know if I should say them on here. I don't know how YouTube treats stuff like that, but it took me about 8 to 12 months to take those meds serious. Cause I'm the type of person where even if I'm sick, I will try my best to not take any meds. Like, I'm just like, I'll let my body heal itself. And, I'm stubborn. That I don't know why I'm that way. I'm just that way. So when it came time to like start taking these meds and take them serious, it was a thing for me because, there's a huge stigma around it and people see it as, some people see it as a negative thing, but that's from people abusing it and using it who maybe the doctor, they had a doctor that prescribed it and that's not what they needed. They needed, maybe they needed therapy, which we could all probably use therapy. This is kind of sounding like this might be you, but you're not sure. Go get help. Don't just self-diagnose yourself. The issue is these little things here, this is training our brains to crave dopamine. When we go and doom scroll, your brain's saying, oh, dopamine, 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 dopamine. Like you're training your brain to do that. Where in reality, maybe you weren't born with that. Or maybe, I feel like a lot of the stuff comes from childhood trauma. Who knows? Again, I don't want to get too deep in the woods here. If you feel like that's you, seek professional help. Find a way to talk to somebody about it and take it serious because these meds, there's upsides and there's downsides to it. And that's kind of what, I'm about to be 35 this year. Now I'm having to learn how to deal with these meds and I want to take them long enough to where I can kind of get my stuff back on track and then ditch them forever. Last thing I'll leave you guys off with is a little bit on why, like what was happening to me that got me to that point. Basically, still shooting full-time commercially. I still do commercial jobs here and there. I say I don't, but I look back and I keep doing them, stressing myself out. I was losing out on a lot of opportunities. I've had some like narcissist buddies in my history and stuff who would call me dumb or call me lazy and stuff. In reality, I was struggling with ADHD. And it was little things of not replying to emails on time. And like I would wake up excited to start working and I would sit down and my house would be like spotless and all my stuff would be ready for me to start working. Next thing you know, it's freaking 10 p.m. I got nothing done and I'm hating myself. I'm hating my life. Depression was setting in. I'd wake up miserable and just feeling defeated in life. And I was like, I feel off. I don't feel right. I feel like something's going awry here. Again, that's why I started to seek out help and started learning about ADHD, and it's been life-changing. Going here on YouTube, like if I wasn't learning about myself, this side of myself, I'd be struggling hard right now, I think. So yeah, I don't know. I just want to talk about that as I was about to film here. Again, ADHD. I have a million other things I need to film right now, but I just felt the urge to talk about this. I'm gonna get to my notepad here. I'm gonna start making my notes on what I need to film here. We only have like 3 or 4 hours of light left, so I'm gonna get to it. I took my meds today. I didn't take them originally because I try not to take it on the weekend. It's a Saturday, but I have a lot of stuff to get done. I have 4 or 5 videos to get done in the next week, and pretty much nothing's filmed from them. So. Yeah, go time. Also, last thing, I feel like this is why I love directing so much. One, I'm an insanely creative person. I have all these stories and all this, such a bold imagination from textures and colors and, psychology, like all of it. This is why I love directing. But also when I'm on set, even before I had meds and everything, I felt amazing on set because, you have 20 to 30 people coming up to you, or even on smaller teams, if it's like 3 to 5 people, you have people coming up to you and asking you like, hey, what do I do for this? What do you need for this? What's that? Is this good? Is this okay? Are we going to move on with this? I thrive in that. And that's my ADHD just really, that's where the superpowers come in. If you have it, it's not doom and gloom. Some of the most creative people I know have ADHD. Goodbye.